Who's the Pacers MVP this year? Their most improved player, their defensive player of the year. You know all the awards. We're going to talk about all of them for the Pacers and the league to wrap up the Pacers regular season. We're joined by Will Furr to do it on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, y'all? Happy Tuesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today we're doing the awards show. Got to do it today. It's the last day before play-in, playoffs, whatever you want to call it. Games start tomorrow to look back on the regular season, reflect on what happened a little bit. And we're doing it via awards. The league awards, we give them out to players on the Pacers, and then also make our awards picks for the league just for funsies. And Will Furr, one of the GOATs of the era, the golden era of 8.9 seconds, as well as the Fieldhouse is going to join us to do it all. Who is the Pacers MVP? Their most improved player, probably my most controversial pick of the day, and so much more the rest of the week. It's all going to be Pacers Bucks here on Locked On Pacers. So today is the last day to look back on a fun 50-win season for the Pacers with Will Furr. Let's just get right to it. The regular season is over. The playoffs are coming, but there's a one-day gap before the play-in tournament, and I am choosing to use it to reflect on the regular season one last time because it was quite the season for the Pacers. They won 50 games, and to look back at this Pacers season, we're doing awards for both Pacers players and around the league. And if I did that alone, it'd be something. But if I do it with someone else, it'll be even better. The GOAT, I still use his phrases all the time from the 8.9 seconds days and the Fieldhouse. It's Will Furr. Will, welcome back. How are you?
Man, I've been trying to get Will actively harmful Furr to stick for years, and it just I can't get it. It's just stuck with Jordan Bell for life.
You know, I'll try to get it to stick, but I don't think I'll have a lot of success. We're doing awards. We're doing awards. I think some of these for the Pacers part was very easy, and some were extremely hard to the point of being like, am I really about to pick this guy for most improved Pacer? But we'll start with what I'd considered an easy one for the Pacers and a hard one for the NBA. MVP. Will, who is your Pacers MVP this season?
Siakam.
And why, I should ask?
Siakam, Haliburton's been up and down, and maybe you say like on the whole maybe he's been better, but Siakam's been there every single game, and he's been kind of the guy who takes the blows when Haliburton's off or when Mathurin is shooting 3 for 14, and it's been Siakam every single night. And I was real skeptical of the trade when they made it. I didn't think he was that great, and he's been freaking awesome. He's my MVP.
Yes, he has the deserved all-star appearance because he was the only guy who did anything sort of consistent for the first month and a half of the season. I made the case in early March that like, hey, he should probably be in All-NBA talks. And then since then, it's all Tyrese Haliburton who you hear in All-NBA talks. And I tend to lean towards him being the Pacers MVP this season with that in mind. Even though, like, the stuff that I would think about if I had these two really close that I would try to decide between. For example, I hate on-off net ratings for players on different teams. Doesn't matter to me. We're on the same team. It's more interesting. Siakam on Pacers plus 6.3. Siakam off Pacers minus 4 net rating. Haliburton on plus 3.4. Haliburton off plus 1.12. Some of that is that their own on-offs do not interact, as in they very frequently have Siakam on with Haliburton off and vice versa because they try to stagger those guys. So a lot of those numbers scream like, hey, Siakam's been their valuable guy. Like, he keeps those bench units afloat at times when those bench groups have stunk, and he was very consistent the whole season. And I get all that, and I can read the numbers and tell you that Tony East, the numbers guy, would like to pick Pascal Siakam, and I'm picking Tyrese Haliburton because the way he is their identity in every way. They play the way they do because of him. He, since mid-December onward, has been an offensive force unlike anything in the league, really, in terms of the combination of passing, shooting, scoring, etc. He is very singular in terms of his skills in the league, and impact stats are like, hey, this is maybe a top 10 player in the league. Everybody's better when they play with Haliburton, including Pascal Siakam. So Tony East, the numbers guy, would like to apologize to the numbers. I am not picking Pascal Siakam, even though a lot of data says I should.
I think aren't the Pacers like 22-3 when Haliburton scores 20 points or something? It's
Yeah,
right
it's
in
something
there.
like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And guess what? If Tyrese Haliburton could wiggle free easily enough to score 20 points every game, he would just do that. And that's not something that he's been great at this season, which is, you could call that problematic if you want. I get that. That's not necessarily his like primary function as a player, but that is true. When he, because of how good he is at other stuff, that stat still means something, right? That, oh, if he also is scoring, like, you just can't beat the Pacers at all.
Yeah.
Haliburton.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think Haliburton is probably the right pick here.
I'm not going to begrudge anyone for picking Siakam because, like, I get that Haliburton's late surge was amazing, and these assist turnover numbers are like, wait, what? However, like, he was the all-star. No one thought Haliburton should be the all-star. And that ended like at the end of January. Like through then, everybody was like, yeah, Siakam's clearly been the better player on balance for the rest of this, for that point in the season. And even now, Haliburton, Siakam together, Pacers plus 6.6. Siakam, no Haliburton, net rating plus 5.5. Haliburton, no Siakam, minus 3.6. And neither obviously is like, what are we even talking about? So again, a lot of numbers are like, yeah, that big forward guy who could score and defense really good. I just can't because of the identity part of it and the lift everybody else gets, even though those numbers don't necessarily say that lift is extremely enormous from Tyrese Haliburton. No one else even deserves 2 seconds of breath here on the Pacers, right? Are we kidding ourselves? Okay, your league MVP, Will Furr.
It's got to be Jokic.
I don't think he's going to win, but I would also pick Jokic. I don't think there's anyone better. I think I get that Shea's amazing, but I think Jokic is just better and more valuable to the Nuggets than Shea is to the Thunder. I can't explain it. I have nothing good to say about it.
Yeah, I think he's the best player alive.
Yeah, I do too.
And he's doing insane things, like not only the combinations of stats and whatever that you're like, oh, he had 56 points and 20 rebounds and oh my god, but like the passes and
I think he elevated the Nuggets to home court advantage. And like Murray wasn't that good this year. Porter started good and dipped off. Aaron Gordon was hurt a lot. Moore, barely. This is close. Like I get Shea's probably going to win and I'm fine with that. But like more than Shea elevated the Thunder, which is crazy to say because the Thunder are like, hey, every number says this is the best team ever. And Shea was a big part of that. I would also pick Jokic. And I don't think he's going to win because of voter fatigue, but alas. Okay. I can't believe it. Last year, this was a joke for the Pacers. They were so bad at defense. Above average this year, the Indiana Pacers. Will Furr, who is your Pacers Defensive Player of the Year and why?
It's still got to be Turner. It's always going to be Turner.
Ooh, why?
If Turner is not in the game, the Pacers defense is terrible. It does not matter who the other 4 players are. If Turner is not in the game, the Pacers defense is terrible.
That is true. That is somewhat a function of who his backups were very often this year, I think. Those 6 glorious games with Isaiah Jackson available were a hoot, weren't they? Pacers defensive rating with Myles Turner on the floor this year, 113.68. That's very good. Very good. So I am a believer that in terms of like setting your floor or tone or like the step one to creating a competent NBA defense is having a good defensive center, right? Like I agree with you on function that a good defensive center plus 4 terrible perimeter defenders has a better chance of like surviving on defense than the opposite. If you have 4 good perimeter defenders and an awful rim protector, you might be toast. Like then ask the Nuggets, like maybe right now. I still picked Andrew Nembhard. I knew you would. I know. I'm so like pilled high on his defense, and he has had some games even of late where I'm like, really? He just got beat by who off the dribble? Like that shouldn't be happening to Andrew Nembhard. But like their season was saved when he returned from injury because they finally could guard like anything. His defensive on-offs are plus like 3 or 4. Turner's is somehow like barely +1, which is crazy because it seems like it should be way higher than that. They're on-off for Turner. They're 113.7 on, 114.9 off. Nembhard's 112.4 on, 115.9 off. And so I think obviously them playing together and in tandem a lot's going to going to make those numbers look good. Like with both of them off, it's like, oh my God. And Neesmith's a great defender too, who's a part of this. The fact that they'll start together is important. And again, it goes against my principles because I think that center is the most important defensive position for NBA teams. But Nembhard always like last year it toggled a lot. It was Nesmith or Nembhard. This year it is always Andrew Nembhard getting that assignment. And I think that is important for the Pacers, even though it flies in the face of my usual logic here.
I have no argument against it. I think it is just fine. I just I'm with you on the center makes the defense, and I think if you removed Andrew Nembhard from the lineup and it was Nesmith and Mathurin there, the Pacers are probably okay. If you remove Turner's defense and it's Bradley, I guess, Thomas Bryant, they call Ja.
Would you like numbers to support both of our cases at the same time?
They're both good cases. I feel good about it.
They are. I feel bad for Aaron Nesmith, who is just as good, if not a little better, on defense than last year, but is not better than either of these guys on that end of the floor. Okay. With Turner and Nembhard on the floor together, which happens quite often, they are, in fact, both starters. The Pacers' defensive rating is 109.9. That's very good. Okay. Turner on, Nembhard off. The Pacers' defensive rating is 120.1. And Nembhard on, Turner off. The Pacers' defensive rating is 118.9. Like, they clearly also work well in tandem, defending a lot of actions. And I gave the slight edge to Nembhard among many reasons that I already stated, because they're a little bit more survivable with him instead of Turner. But I, again, cannot fault the Myles Turner pick. We have years of evidence that he's an incredible defender, and they would be screwed, as we see with a lot of these bench groups. They're screwed, even without the rebounding.
I think Nembhard is the better defender. I think that's what I would say.
The playoffs are going to be fascinating because last year they took like Nembhard off of the best player in the Knicks series to adjust to Nesmith. I don't think they'll do that this year, even though Nesmith is a good defender.
I can't talk about Nembhard's defense without just seeing Brunson cook him over and over.
Brunson played like he wasn't even there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating this playoffs, and they might avoid a situation where Nembhard's guarding the best player in the first round. If they play the Cavs, they're going to need Nembhard and Nesmith to be spectacular. But like,
that is the welcome to the bench Ben moment.
Yeah. The first one I flew in the face of the numbers and picked Haliburton anyway. Like I almost did here just because, like, again, I think Nembhard's an awesome defender, but there were just a lot of games where it was like, man, Kobe White just destroyed him. Like that wasn't even close. Most of them were down the stretch, and I think fatigue played somewhat of a factor there, but that still sticks in my head a little bit. Your NBA, the entire league defensive player of the year.
I'm not allowed to, but the answer is Wembanyama. It's going to be Wembanyama for the next 15 years. Just rename the award after him.
Did you see part of Draymond's campaigning for himself was like, basically, this is my last chance, please.
I mean, it's true.
So the NBA put out a graphic today that was the stat leaders for every stat. Wembanyama is the blocks guy. He did not play enough games to qualify for the leaderboards. However, if he got no blocks in any game between his 45th game and what it would have taken for him to make the leaderboards, he still would have led the league in blocks. So he got on there. That happened to Myles Turner once, but he missed it by 2 games. Wemby missed it by over 10, double digits. It's amazing. It is unbelievable. Yes.
Give it to Amen Thompson.
I was very strongly considering him. I am going with Draymond Green. He just feels more game-wrecky to me personally. He can guard. He's one of the few players in the league who can actually guard every position and legitimately shuts guys down. Because he can play center still, that matters to me. Once he stops being able to guard fives, if he gets too slow-footed to stretch out that way or loses some power, it will hurt him a lot. Jaren and Mobley were so close, but Draymond's late season push as the Warriors became a good team.
Yeah, I think late season push is a very kind way of saying he started playing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Jaren Jackson just fouls too much, and Mobley's on a Mobley's really good. I almost picked Evan Mobley. And I keep telling people, I'm like, Evan Mobley should maybe make first team All-NBA. And if I think that, I should probably pick him. But I just feel Draymond's defensive presence more, which is wild to say because he didn't have a great defensive game as the Warriors missed a playoff spot in their last game. Okay.
You didn't even say Lou Dort's name.
Yeah, he's probably the best perimeter defender this. No, Amen Thompson as well. Amen Thompson and Lou Dort are the only guys who like actually make stars panic or upset. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody, quick break to talk about Hungryroot. Spring is here, and life is busier than ever. Between work, family, and everything in between, who has time for grocery shopping and meal prep? That's why I use Hungryroot. It makes everything healthy, delicious, and simple and stress-free when it comes to eating. Hungryroot's like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist wrapped into one. They take care of grocery shopping and meal planning, offering personalized recommendations based on your tastes and health goals. I love how Hungryroot tailors my orders based on what I like or didn't love. It gets smarter every time. With their high-quality, nutritious food, you can stick to your gut-friendly, high-protein diet without spending hours planning. The meals come together in 15 minutes or less, giving you more time for whatever. Your family, workouts, hobbies. Take advantage of this exclusive deal. You can get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA with the code LockedOnNBA. You'll get 40% off and a lifetime free item. An easy one, Will. Rookie of the year for the Pacers. With apologies to their second round picks, I don't think we have to discuss this for more than 2 seconds.
I gotta let you go first, Tony. I can't ruin it.
Tristan Newton, you had a fun 2 months before you got waived. Enrique Freeman, full of joy, decent rebounder. Furphy legitimately has moments where I'm like, oh, he's playing rotation minutes, and this isn't like a bad thing for the Pacers right now. He plays physical. He's a good rebounder. He's got a long way to go with shot making. He's going to have to figure out how to put the ball on the floor and make a play here or there at some point, but a solid enough pick at 35 right now and is by far the Pacers winner of their draft picks.
He's Doug McDermott. He hit a couple of the sneaky dunks.
He has the opposite skills of Doug McDermott right now.
Oh, the athleticism, man. I see it. Like it's there.
He did have the pop and dunk. He had some nice play. His last 2 G League games, finally, I was like, oh, wow. Like, looks much better than a lot of these other guys. It took him a while to get to that point. Yeah, there's no debate. Ray J. Dennis was also technically a rookie. He can pass very well. He's a fine player. He was better than Tristan Newton. Your NBA Rookie of the Year.
Stephon Castle, I think, has to get it. I'm not like...
I disagree.
Super thrilled. Who are you going with?
Yeah, he just has so many games where I'm like, okay, I get that his passing was fine and the Spurs suck, but like he was 3 for 11 or 4 for 15 or something. It's like, I need you to contribute to winning a little more than that. And I know that's hard for rookies. If there was no game rule like with Wemby, I would have picked Jared McCain. I am going to pick Reese Shea. Reese Shea is a good enough defender and actually makes shots on a team that is trying to win. I've wanted to pick Jalen Wells all year, but his offensive impact kind of fell off. He guards the best player like all the time for the Grizz, but he kind of fell off on both ends, right? Steph let him up for 50. Like he's not an awesome defender. He's pretty good. So I think Reese Shea's been the best rookie, especially when you add in the actually contributing to winning at a small level for the Hawks this year.
Is the stats about number of points versus number of dribbles for him are pretty alarming.
Yes.
He's not doing much.
He is a product of the Hawks more so than the other way around. Yes, that is true.
that would be my only concern.
All season I've been a Wells guy. He's been the best rookie on like a good team, even though Memphis still has to win a game to make the playoffs. But he just fell off a little, not even fell off. Just like I felt Reese Shea rise more late, and Castle's probably going to win. It's fine. He's good. He didn't impact winning as much as the other guys. And McCain, I'm so mad McCain got hurt. Like he was so much better.
Easy answer.
He was so good. Yeah, this was a short one for both rookie and the league. This one I thought was going to be hard for me, and then it wasn't at all. But I will make you go first. Your Pacers 6th man of the year.
Yeah, I was thinking about this one. My wife is an avid TJ McConnell enjoyer. Favorite player. So I'm sorry.
He can't win.
It's got to be Obi.
Yeah, last year it was TJ to me. Was an awesome ISO scorer. He could hit that shot all the time. He did it first this season, right? November, he was very good. Like him and Siakam are their two most consistent performers. Maybe it was his ankle injury. Maybe it's getting older. Maybe it's some both. Maybe it's neither. He cannot. It's not even that his efficiency's down. He can't even create the space as much as last year. He gets blocked once every other game. And that never happened last year. Like he could just get that shot up. Maybe it's defender tendencies figuring out how he was getting all these shots up. There's like a lot of reasons this could be happening. And I think he's been a little better recently, don't you? Not a lot better, just a little. Am I crazy?
No, you're on it. And you make a really good point. There were so many times last year that it seemed like he just found himself open for that little fadeaway. Little duck, a little dip, a little dive. And suddenly he just had space, and I don't feel like that's happened at all this year. Every inch he has to work for.
And the one he got a lot last year is like he would be dribbling across the baseline to like hit the corner pass, and he would just like flip it over his head for a reverse layup and get 2 points out of that. That's the one that like is never there anymore. Defenses are ready for it. He can't even get close. So that one is really, really tough. I couldn't pick him either. I'm hearing a lot of from the fake crowd that is listening to us talk before this episode comes out. I'm hearing a lot of, where's your Ben Mathurin in this discussion? Ineligible, everyone. He started 49 times. He's not even a candidate for sixth man of the year. If he was okay, so backing up, I'm also picking Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is like literally the only bench player that I'm like certain is going to be helpful in the postseason this year, right? Like it's gotten to that point for them. He is my answer as well. He started very slow, like concerningly slow, but was awesome in December, filled in as backup center before they traded for Bryant, has been very good of late as well. Once they changed up his rotational pattern a bit, it's easy to me that it's him. Would you have picked Mathurin if he was eligible?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would have picked Mathurin. I think he can turn an entire game. Like
yes,
Obi can
exactly.
have a moment. He can go out and score 6 points, get a couple of dunks.
Well, if they're playing the Timberwolves, if they're playing Minnesota, Obi can turn the game. Yeah, I mean, they won. How many? I mean, I'm making this up. Like, obviously, the Brooklyn game that was very recent comes to mind, and the one right before, after that, I can't remember. Where like Mathurin won them the game. Like, the Knicks game, like really early in the season, we had 35. Like, he won them that game. The thing is, like, this was I can't remember if it was Brogdon or Quick or whatever. Like, it was somebody a few years ago who won that everybody was upset they won six men because they had good stats, but a lot of their stats came from games where they started. And a lot of Mathurin's stats came from games he started. In theory, if he had like 8 or 9 fewer starts, he's definitely better this season statistically as a starter. Not that he should be starting, just how the case is for him. But yes, I agree that he would be the answer were he eligible. And I think he is a bench player. I am also confident he will do well in the playoffs. I meant when I said that about Obi of the guys eligible for sixth man. So again, the fake crowd that is listening going, hey, boo, Ben Mathurin. I also think he will do well in a playoff setting. Those are two of the 7 the Pacers have. But yes, for the sake of how the award sixth man of the year works, I think it kind of has to be Toppin. You can't pick Mathurin. McConnell hasn't been good enough, and everybody else has been way too inconsistent for the Pacers.
I think that's it. That's the only one.
I agree. Your NBA sixth man of the year. I think there's only like 2 good candidates in the whole league, 2 or 3.
Man, I haven't put a single second of thought into it on the NBA. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that the top 2 guys that will define who actually wins will be Malik Beasley, who was like, oh, wow, this is a Steph level shooter off the bench for the Pistons. And Peyton Pritchard, who was like, oh, this is a Steph level shooter off the bench for the Celtics. And I think Pritchard's a little better myself, but I think Beasley might be more important to the Pistons. And then Ty Jerome was very good, but like didn't play nearly as much as those guys. It's one of those 3 to me. I have an answer, but I want you to pick now that you've heard the names.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Beasley. The takeover ability, although I undersell Peyton Pritchard all the time, and then he does terrible things to the Pacers. So maybe this is just another.
He does terrible things to lots of teams. Yes. The only one, him and Jokic, the only 2 guys that take a half court shot, and I'm like, oh, like that has a good enough chance of going in that I'm not going to look away or like wait for the crowd to react. Like I have to watch. Yeah, he's like the best rebounding 6-footer I've ever seen. Also, I also am picking Malik Beasley. I think he's so important to the Pistons, and I just want the Pistons to have like some honor, man. Like, I don't think Bickerstaff's gonna win Coach of the Year. We'll talk about that. Although he had a great year, and like they made the playoffs, like maybe that's enough of an honor. But they need to look back and be like, oh, Beasley won 6-man, and Cade got this, and that they deserve it. The tripling your win total is just crazy. One more break here, guys. We got to talk about Open Phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about it. When was the last time you had a service emergency? If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. That's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system designed to streamline and scale your customer communications, all through an app on your phone or computer. Many people love that they don't need to carry 2 phones. With Open Phone, you can manage your business calls and texts from one app, whether you're at your desk or on the go. They have a shared inbox feature that people love. Your team can jump into any conversation without missing a beat. The AI call transcripts and summaries save you time on follow-ups and ensures you never lose track of customer interaction. Open Phone is offering listeners here today 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you're switching from another service, Open Phone will port your existing numbers over at no additional charge. That's Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. This one was, I think, probably my hardest internal debate for the Pacers, Will Furr. The most improved player on the Pacers roster this season. I think I'm going to have a hot take here, but I would like you to go first.
Oh, you're going to have a hot take. Okay.
I think so. Who is yours?
I'm reassessing. I mean, I'm going to go, I think, with no statistical evidence to support this, mind you. I'm going to go with Nembhard.
Okay, that was among the 3 that I considered for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
His defensive improvement's very obvious. He has more wiggle to get 2 shots, I think. I don't think he improved at the stuff that everybody thought would be like this is how Nembhard has an awesome season stuff, like solo point guarding and isolation stuff, like, oh, this guy killed the Celtics for 2 games, basically all those skills. But he got a lot better at a lot of other things, and all the on-off data is like, hey, if Nembhard's in the game, they're really good, and if he's not in the game, they suck. Yeah, he certainly got better. He's got to make shots at some point. Like getting his 3-point percentage up is paramount. Getting his toes behind the line is very important. His deceleration improvements have been huge, but they haven't led to enough makes. But it's an improvement of a skill that's going to matter for him long term. Yes, I considered him. I also very strongly considered Aaron Nesmith. The games played factor hurts him to the extent that matters on a 1-team award show that we're doing. He still is a great shooter. He's a really good defender. That alone, valuable player, right? We don't have to talk about the rest of the things he does. The improvements inside the arc where he's like a scorer the last month and a half. Like if that's a real thing in the playoffs or next season, it's like, oh my God, like this guy's got to play 30 to 40 minutes every game because he can do everything they'll need him to do. And he's going to be guarded by the 4th best player on the other team. Like he's going to have chances to do that kind of stuff. It's going to be important. And yet I did not pick him, Will Furr. The Tony East hot take. The most improved Indiana Pacer this season to me was Pascal Siakam. Is that a crazy pick?
I thought you were going to say Jarris Walker.
Oh, I did. Jarris Walker finished 4th for me. Like the spirit of most improved thing that everybody always talks about with second-year players.
Yeah.
Like you expect him to get better. He definitely got better. He definitely improved defensively. He does not jump nearly as much, although he got a lot of steals out of it recently. He's got to quit doing the get beat a little bit, reach around thing. He's definitely a better defender. He's way better team defender. The shot's better. He can snake pick and rolls incredibly. Like he's a good player, especially his surge of late. A lot of inconsistencies the first 2 months of the season. He admitted that. I'm not making that up. He said that about himself. But he played well enough that they were comfortable playing him 75 times a season, which I don't know if anyone expected that'd be his games played number before the season started. Like that's a big deal. No. I picked Siakam. Not only did Siakam. Okay. Not only did Siakam become trusted 3-point shooter, right? Not this guy made one this game and then another one a couple games later. 4 out of every 10 levels going in on his second most attempts in his career, getting him up, right? Over 4 a game per 36, probably pretty close to his career high. I probably should have checked that. Second best of his career also. And per 36, crazy good percentages. Inside the arc, more variety. Still good at the same shots, but more variety. From last year, believe it or not, I can't. This is a hilarious sentence to say out loud because of his perception here. Upped his free throw percentage from last year. And a good defensive rebounder. But the thing that stands out beyond the shooting is last year, I think he was overrated as a defender on the Pacers. It took him a long time to finally fit into their scheme and everything. It's way different from the Raptors. Like, I'm not saying this was some huge indictment on Siakam. It was a challenging situation. He was much better, I thought, as a defender this season on fives, on fours, in lots of matchups. And he always preached the team getting better on defense. He was a huge leader in the offseason, and he led by example on that end of the floor. I'm not sure he's like a huge positive impact defender for them. He is surrounded by very good ones, but he's a better defender than he was last year. And all those things are what allowed him to return to all-star form and be in the discussion. We're like, yeah, he might have been the Pacers MVP this year. And those improvements are harder. That's why I went with him, if that makes any sense. Going from like great to really great is a much harder improvement than other levels of jumps. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And so I understand completely why this is a probably no one listening was going to pick this. I think Siakam was the most improved Pacer this year.
I'm sold. I like it.
Yes. Yes. It's a tough one. He won most improved in his actual career, so I'm sure he's flattered by the the Locked On Pacers 2024-25 most improved player of the year. Yeah, Jared Scott. I mean, like, so can we talk about this for a second? The function of their season running it back was a lot of these young players could get better, right? I mean, how do you, let me just rattle off names. Just say yes or no. Do you feel like this player got better? Well, we're just talking about the young guys, right? Andrew Nembhard, you just picked him,
Yes.
so that's a yes. Aaron Nesmith?
Yes.
Tyrese Haliburton?
No.
Yeah. Ben Mathurin?
No.
No. Okay. Obi? I guess he's not young. He's 27. Jarris Walker?
Yes.
Okay. Ben Shepherd?
Yes.
Yeah. See, a lot of them did. And the team's record is not that much higher. So it's a very interesting thing for me to think about that. Maybe it's because the improvement wasn't like such a massive margin for any one guy. They were really hurt early in the year, but it was very interesting to me to think about that. I don't know how much time you put into this one. Who is your NBA most improved player this season?
It's it's almost got to be Beasley still.
That's a great choice, but it's not my answer.
He was, I won't say he was fringes of the NBA. Like he was in the league, but he was 8th, 9th, 10th man.
Yeah, Tyrese Haliburton clowned him last year like a lot.
Yeah. Made him fall down on national TV.
Yes, these are all facts. I went with Dyson Daniels, which again, second-year player. I probably shouldn't. If I wasn't picking a second-year player, I would probably pick Evan Mobley or Ivica Zubac.
Ooh.
Dyson Daniels went from like people being like, "Oh, that's not a big deal for the Hawks to get it." Like people did not like that trade for the Hawks, if I recall correctly. To like, "Oh, they got the best player already." Like now, he's better than DeJounte Murray today. Like we didn't mention him in Defensive Player of the Year, but like, oh my God, is that guy a good defender? His defensive playmaking is crazy. He bumps you, he steals everything. It's crazy. He's so good.
I think if you're looking at second-year guys, if they have made leaps that are like so far above and beyond what was expected, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Or just like completely new skills to the point that you're like, wait, I've never seen them do that before. This one I'm sure will be in lockstep. Clutch Player of the Year, everybody's favorite award. It's all my family talks about. Will, who is your Clutch Player of the Year?
It's got to be Ty.
Yep. Ben Mathurin.
As long as he's not dribbling against the Hornets, we're all right.
It is crazy how bad the Pacers are against the Hornets. Ben Mathurin, congratulations. You had some great clutch moments this season. Again, we already talked about him winning some games. Pascal Siakam hit, I would say, one of the biggest 3 or 4 shots for the Pacers this whole season, that overtime 3 against the Celtics when they could have been 1-4 and blown a 20-point lead in one quarter that night. Instead, they won the game. Huge shot. He had some big ones. Nembhard, that left slot, man. If he's open late, good luck. Good luck, Dallas Mavericks. Was that the Mavs? I think that was the Mavs. But yeah, it's Ty.
I got to shout out specifically Mathurin gets clutch rebounds. That's the thing that I've noticed this year that I'm digging.
Yes, he does. I mean, Haliburton had the best shot of their season, obviously in crunch time against the Bucks. That game, by the way, the difference between them being the 4 and 5 seed officially, since the Bucks finished with 48 wins, like literally 2 games ago, got them home court advantage with 2 clutch threes against the Cavs. You can go countless examples. There's no debate. It's Tyrese Haliburton. Do you even have an opinion on the NBA's Clutch Player of the Year award?
Not even a little, man. Just give it to De'Aaron Fox.
I don't care. I hate to say this. I just don't. It doesn't matter. It's so fluctuating year to year. If there was any, like Dame for a while was a rare guy that I was like, yes. Yeah. And he did it all the time. And like, if you're consistent in the clutch, like your level doesn't fall, everybody alive, they get worse in the clutch. Like the game gets tighter. Every possession matters. Like they get a little worse. If you maintain your level, your edge over everybody else gets bigger. And Dame did that, right? DeRozan does that, right? That's why those guys are always in this mix. And that's why I pick Jokic for a clutch player of the year, not because he's like maybe the greatest clutch player ever, but like he doesn't get any worse. And you just
I know how to fix this award.
Yes, go.
It doesn't have to be given out.
No, it doesn't. Why did they add this at all?
So make it so that people, like, if somebody has an absolutely bonkers clutch year, be like, yeah, I'm voting for DeMar DeRozan, but you don't have to vote if it's who are you voting for this year? Like, who was give it to Josh Giddey for what he did to LeBron James. just do that.
That'd be a more fun award than clutch player of the year. Most obscure good game. That'd be fun. I also think if they're going to do defensive player of the year, do offensive player of the year, or and then MVP is a little easier. I don't know. Coach of the year. Congratulations to Rick Carlisle. We have no discussions to make. I am obviously higher on Rick Carlisle than the fan base. I have no interest in actually discussing that unless you do.
I was going to pick Jenny. Come on now.
Jenny is very good at what she does.
I learned, I think it was from Locked On. Was it Locked On that I learned that the pick play that they love running full court?
That's her.
End of game is her.
That's her. Mike Weiner tweaked it a bit, but yes, that is her thing from Sue Bird.
See, I was prepared with that factoid to back up my selection for Jenny Busick as coach of the year.
One of my favorite things to do is figure out who has the scout for a game, because you can tell which Pacers assistant it is probably within the first 2 minutes of the game because they're just up off the bench, so animated and chatty. I would like to give Mike Weiner the award for my favorite animated assistant coach, just because when he's like trying to tell Rick something, he always is so like verbal with his body and emotive in a way that just cracks me up. When Ben Mathurin got fouled on that 3 late against the Nets a few weeks ago, and he made all 3 free throws, they were trying to tell Rick to challenge it or get them to look at a landing space foul, and Mike Weiner jumps up off the bench, and he's hopping on one foot and kicking with his other leg while running towards Rick. It was very funny. Good job to Rick. Coach of the year in the NBA. This is actually kind of hard. I think there's a lot of good coaches this year. I hate that it's become the who exceeded expectations the most this year award. Who would you pick for the league's coach of the year?
Atkinson, I guess.
Yeah. See, like Dagnall and Atkinson, the case is so easy, right? Like, oh my God, these teams are amazing. Yeah. All right. I would think those two will finish top 2. I'm going to give this award to Ime Udoka. You know why, Will? How are the Rockets this good? Like, they aren't that good in their half-court offense. Their best player is Şengün, I guess, who shouldn't have been an all-star, but was. Like, Jalen Green's their best creator off the bounce. They have good defensive players. How is this team so good on both ends of the floor? It's because their system's good. It's because Udoka puts lineups together that make sense. He found the solution with this too big thing with Adams and Şengün. It's just like, how can a team win this many games and be the second seed in the West and like get nothing? Like, he's got to just give it to Udoka just so it makes sense. Okay, they have a really good coach and like just happen to have really good players that make sense for his system. Congrats to Kevin Pritchard for winning Executive of the Year. Nothing to say. They didn't do a whole lot. They ran it back. Their addition was James Wiseman. He played 1 game. And every transaction they made after their second Achilles tear for the entire season was a center move, except for waiving Tristan Newton for Ray J. Dennis. I liked all their extensions last summer. I think the McConnell one probably looks a little worse than everybody thought at the time. I think the Siakam one probably looks better than everybody thought at the time. It was a fine year. And the thing is, I said it before, so it's easy to say now. It is pretty close to what I would have done running the team. So thumbs up. They got their eval year in that they could, and now they know what to do for next year. I think it's all good. Furphy's a good find in the second round. Bravo. The Thomas Bryant trade, giving up nothing to get somebody who can actually help you, even if just for 2 months. That was good stuff.
I think Furphy will go down as a good win because I think he's going to be playable.
Yeah. If you pick anyone in the second round who is a rotation player, even for like 1 season,
yeah,
good job. The Nembhard pick is like a miracle, you know. Your NBA Executive of the Year, Will.
Whatever blackmail Rob Pelinka has on Nico Harrison.
It's so funny. Like, Presti made awesome moves all year. Getting Hardenstein in free agency is awesome. The Caruso Giddy trade's amazing. Kobe Altman built the Cavs, did good enough job with Kenny McIntyre, made Donovan Mitchell extend. Those teams are awesome. You trade for Luka. Sorry, everybody else. That guy wins. I am so sorry to the rest of you who did not trade for Luka Doncic. Apparently, you all should have been trying to become Nico Harrison's best friend for the last 10 years so you could trade for Luka Doncic.
I so badly want to know if Nico Harrison understands or not. The level of touch that he has with what's happening.
I have very little to say about that. The answer is very clear to me. All right. This is the end of the Locked On Pacers Award. So, Will, what a year! Their first 50-win season that I covered. You were writing in the 2013-14 era, so nothing new for you, huh?
Yeah, I've been around for a bit. It's good to see that 50 again. It's good to see home court. Excited to go to game 1.
It'll be fun. I was hoping last podcast I could tell everyone when the game was, and then it didn't come out till after midnight. But game 1 is Saturday at noon. I'd be shocked if this is the first time anyone hearing this finds out that information for the first time. But hey, figured I'd get it in. Can't wait. The rest of this week will be all about the Bucks. We'll have some Pacersy people. We'll have some Bucksy people. One day I'll just ramble about big questions I have about the game. It'll all be a great time. Will, where can people find you and the things you say about the NBA and primarily the Pacers?
You can find me on Twitter at Will Furr NBA.
I changed your thing, 2 boots with that. I don't put Twitter handles on here anymore for good reason. Don't use that app unless you absolutely have to. Back tomorrow, talking Pacers Bucks. The Pacers will practice, so we'll finally get some details, at least I think so, about what they think of this matchup. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find me at Tony R. East on Twitter and Blue Sky and at Locked On Pacers on Twitter. We'll see you very soon.